Hey there, e-bike fans. Okay, in this video, I was introduced to a brand new bicycle that's going to be hitting the market really soon. And the more I looked into it, the more I thought, right now, there's a super incredible deal. It could be like the deal of the year for an e-bike. And at this point in time, I had spent hours debating on whether I should do this because you could end up with either a super awesome bike for the price that you're getting it, or because I haven't tested it yet, you could end up with something that you might not be happy with. Now, I'm not real sure, but I'm going to go over the specs. I decided, there might be a handful of people that would actually take advantage of this, that will be super happy with it, come out with a bike that's really affordable and some great specs on it. And I'd hate to actually come out later and tell everybody I found this bike and it was really good, but I didn't want to mention it because, and some people would just tell me, you know what, really, let them make their own decision. Just give them all the facts. So here's the facts. Here's the bike. And this is a great deal if it turns out to be what I think it's going to be. And you guys know I do a lot of research. So I really dug in and I even contacted the factory and the company, been in talks with them to get everything that wasn't listed on what's available as far as details. I was able to get those answered as well. So you're not going to really see this anywhere else unless the company actually decides to go ahead and publish some of the stuff I'm talking about, because I think they're important. Well, let's get started and you guys make the decision on whether or not this is a deal of a lifetime or too much of a risk. Let's get started. All right, so let's get started with this video. Now, first and foremost of all, those of you who have been following the channel for a while, you may not know this, but I have only gotten into the e-bike world in March of 2020 when the lockdowns began. So I'm not an expert in the way that I guess people who've been around in the business for a long time. I'm an analyst, and that's by trade. Actually, that's what I do as a job. So I dig in deep to whatever I start seeing something or get obsessed about, and e-bikes is no exception. I've gone super hardcore into it. So I want to put that disclaimer out there. I'm just a guy who likes to ride and likes to analyze stuff really deep and figure out what's going to be the best deal for me and for you guys, viewers as well. And if I make mistakes, I really would like you guys to comment below on mistakes that I make, because that's how I learn. I'm still learning. Really, really green in the industry. I just love e-bikes though. They're just a lot of fun. Okay, so that's the first part. The second disclaimer is that the company you are about to be introduced to, Magicycle, is a new company that will be hopefully getting their bikes in at the end of August and starting to ship in September. And these bikes, as you can see on the screen here, they are very similar to the Hemingway bike styles, Rad Rover styles, but they're 750 watt fat tire bikes and very similar components in a lot of different ways. But there's some differences on these bikes that I definitely want to go into. But the amazing thing about this now, before everybody gets too excited about it, I just need to let you know there are limited amounts on this, and I am expected or hoping to get a free sample of the bike to do a review. That's how I found out about them. Magicycle reached out to me and they said that they, are willing to go ahead and give me a bike if I would like to review one of their bikes. And I said, yeah, I definitely would want to review it. But I am a little concerned about reviewing a bike on the channel because I've already seen I can review something without actually even having it. And, it does generate a lot of buzz and sales. And even though I let people know I'm not, I don't have it, just the specs is what I'm seeing, I know it has a lot of influence. So I need to let you guys know, full disclaimer, Magicycle has actually offered me a free bike to review on my channel. And in turn, this is where everything started coming out. I started doing research because had the bike had specs that were below par of, or going to be too expensive, or it wasn't going to be a good value, I would have honestly told them that there are going to be some concerns that I have that I need to be answered. Now, I did that anyway. I asked them a bunch of questions. I dug deep, and these are some of the things that I came up with. And the reason why I'm sharing this with you now is because this is the stuff that I would share with my own relatives, my own close friends. In fact, I actually told one of my friends, hey, I'm going to post this video if you want to take advantage of this deal before I post it, because they're going to run out, that he should do it. He didn't need a bike. So that's why. I mean, this is such a great deal. I would share it with them. And I thought, well, if I would share it with my family, based on what I've seen, I should be a little more open to going and share it with you guys, because there are some of you who will get a great deal on one of these bikes. These are comparable, in my opinion, to the Hemingway, the Rad Rovers, and in some cases even better because of the pricing that you're going to get on it. But there are differences. So before you look into that now, if you are really eager and you need a bike and you're thinking, you know, $1,000 is worth the risk, I'm going to go in. There are some risks about buying a bike that we have not seen reviewed yet in the United States. So do not blame me if it doesn't turn out to be what you expect. I'm going to say that right now because I do not have this bike. I have not tried it. I want to be very clear on that. I would buy it myself. So there is a lot of hype. Obviously, I'm very excited about it. So make sure I want to make sure everybody's clear on that. And yes, it's a lot of warning, blah, blah, blah warning, because I know people say I talk too much in the beginning, but this is because I want to make sure that I'm covering my reputation to let you guys know I do not have this bike. I have not ridden it. I just went over specs and I've been in contact, and I think it's honestly super legit. And I think people will get a great deal if some of you are willing to take, I would say, the gamble of buying an IndieGoGo bike promotion. Now, you can buy this bike on their website at magicyclebike.com. And as I scroll up here, you will see that their website right at the top says $9.99 for the pre-sale bike being offered. And, you know, they have very limited quantities. But if you really want to get the bike, purchase right through it or hold your place, I think one thing that they're doing right now is they are pushing it through their IndieGoGo. And the reason why I'm saying it's very limited is because there's only 3 left at the $9.99 price. So those of you who have already decided, you might as well jump and get this. This deal will probably be gone within, I say it, an hour after my video gets posted. But there's still going to be 20 after that available for $10.99, and again another 50 after that for $12.99. After these bikes are sold, or I mean $11.99, even another 200 at $12.99, they will start between $1,400 to $1,600. That's going to be the final set price after these promotional pre-sales are done. It's a pre-sale. That means that's the whole reason they're doing this. They do not have any traction out there of anybody doing reviews. I believe I'm the first one actually talking about that is actually getting some exposure. They have a guy that did a review on it himself. I don't know how big of a YouTuber he is, but obviously he must have been in China because he actually is associated with the company to be able to do a review and show himself riding it. And, you know, it was a really good video, give a lot of explanations on it. But I'm going to go into the nitty gritty of the differences between this and what you would get versus like a Hemingway or a Rad Rover or one of those other bikes, because to be honest, there's a lot of similarities between these bikes, but except, you know, as a pre-sale, you're going to get it for $9.99. It's a great price that you can do that, or even $10.99 if you can't get one of these. And even at $12.99, that's a great price. Okay, so I want that just to be said and clear that that's where we're going to have the ability to go ahead and give you guys a good deal on what's being said here. So let's get started with the bike. These are 26-inch fat tires, 750-watt hub motors. So they are rear-driven hubs in the backside. In fact, let's just go over the bike itself. Let's do a full rundown of the full. This is the full size. Most of you actually will be able to ride this. This is going to be for probably someone who's a little on the taller side. For 5'5", I'm probably going to go with a step through myself, and that's one thing I'm going to be. So you have a 750-watt torque at 86 Newton meters. For those of you who don't know about torque ratings, you got to take that with a grain of salt as well. Torque readings are there for us to know what they're rated at, but you know, really different torques can be felt in different ways. Now here's one big benefit that you're going to have with this bike is that it comes with a 52 volt 15 amp hour battery. Now that is a little smaller than the Hemingway, but it's also 52 volts. So you're getting something that has more torque on it, or actually you'll get more power to your motor with a 52 volt. Okay, so that's one of the benefits of that. With seeing this 52 already kind of made me excited. Now you also get a 3 amp charger. So you have a fast charger. It's not your standard 2 amp charger that's on other bikes that are out there. So I just want to make sure that that's being stated as well. Let me bring back up that IndieGoGo listing as a short summary here so that you can see what I'm talking about. The 52 volt 3 amp charger. So that's on that. And then you have your geared hub. It's a 52 volt 750 watt motor. That's also on here as well. So 35 to 60 miles. Now throttle only, you're probably going to be getting the 35-mile range, especially with a 750 and this type of, but you probably could get up to 60 if you're pedaling, and that is basically standard. Everybody states that that's the ranges you're going to get on that. The LCD display is a little on the higher end. I mean, it's a nice display on there. There's nothing I would complain about. Something as long as you have your miles per hour on it, you know, it's pretty decent on that. You have a 7-speed. This is a Shimano 7-speed drivetrain that's on it as well, and it's the same type of shifter that you get when, you know, it's kind of similar to more of the budget bikes like the Electric XP. The shifters are the same. That's going to be a 275-pound rating. So let me also mention that the owner of Magicycle is somebody who's actually been in the industry and done design on bikes for about 10 years now. I got the story behind the person who does. It's actually on their website as well. If you want to see the About Us is on here, you can actually look into that, the Magic brand story. So it tells you about it there, and read his story about, you know, how he had a passion for e-bikes, or not a passion for e-bikes itself, but a passion for bicycles itself because of the experience he had riding with his dad. And, you know, as his dad got older and couldn't ride one, as an engineer, he designed or put together a bike that he could still ride with his dad being in his, I think in his upper 70s, or he's able to ride again and get the experience where his dad just really loved it. So it kind of drove that passion to say, you know, if he can make someone that happy, why not do it as a career? So he actually was, again, designing bikes. He has a couple of patents. So you have a guy who actually understands bikes. He's not someone who's new that's going to another factory to go ahead and pick out of a catalog and say, let's go ahead and brand this and put it on there. Magicycle actually has their own factory. They actually do their own assembly and their own design. Here's some pictures that I have here that was sent to me. So when I was doing my research, I asked him for some information more about the company because I wanted to, again, make sure it was a decent bike. So you have, you know, pictures of their assembly line. This is obviously, it's real. I mean, they're there and they're in existence and they're putting it together. So you have a factory, and again, they are controlling the factory, which means they have their own factory. They're doing all the assembly, so they have the quality control put in place there, which is kind of important. I mean, that seems to be some of the issues that you have with some other companies that are not necessarily hands-on. They just, again, you can pick from, if you go to Alibaba, you can pick from a catalog and start marketing your own, and they'll brand it after you just buy 100 bikes. And also, you don't know one bike from another really that's coming out, but these guys actually are doing it. The reason they're using this frame sizes or style that's so close to the Hemingway style is because of the fact that this has been a proven design known to work very well. And I know that he has had, the owner has actually had some design modifications done, again, because he is a designer of e-bikes. He actually helped design some of the OEM models that are out there for other brands in the past before moving on to do his own thing. So keep that in mind. This is something that is not just a off-market kind of thing. So here we have, oh, here's the Shimano shifter. Again, it's the same type of shifter that you get off of like the Electric XP. Comes with a bell, light switch. It is integrated front and rear light. You have your twist throttle on here as well. It does have mechanical disc brake, same type of bike disc brakes that you'll get with like the Rad Rover on there as well. And so one thing I noticed is that they never put anything about their motor, like what brand it is. So I did ask that straight out. What brand of the motor is there? Is it something that that was a name brand? And they came back and said, I was actually happy to hear that they're not using Bafang, but they're using a very reputable company called Shengyi. And if you do a search for just Shengyi motors on Google, you'll see that there is actually a lot of information about them. They are, I think, probably number 2 as far as production in China for their motors. So even Electric Bike Review has toured their factory, and so has Blue Monkey Bicycles. I mean, this is an older channel, but again, Shengyi is no joke. They're actually a really good company of bikes. So I wanted to know who else uses Shengyi motors, and Aventon puts them in their level. Aventon level. This is a really popular selling bike, and it's fast. Now, they use a 500 watt motor in the Aventon, but it's a Shengyi brand. And the way that you can actually, if you want to know, this is a little secret, if you want to know what bikes use certain parts, if you go to Electric Bike Review and you type in Shengyi, it will search all of the different pages, and you'll see it's also in the Aventon Cinch. And again, these two bikes, I mean, these are big name brands. Aventon, they're like one of the top brands of e-bikes out there. So they don't fool around with making sure that they're going to get good quality motors in there. So they're using Shengyi motors in this as well. Now here's something also, Unoro, I don't know how to pronounce that, and Blix, these are also big name brands, also using Shengyi. And the Aventon Pace also has it. But I wanted to show you RAD. RAD is actually using, in the EU versions, this is again one of the biggest name, if not the #1 selling e-bike company right now with Shengyi motors. So if you're kind of wondering if there's any credibility issues with it, I kind of would hope that this kind of would ease your mind about it. Look, even the RAD Power Bike, the City, I think this is a bike that's actually the 2019 models. I mean, they used it a couple years ago. I think what they did is they actually rebranded their own. I don't know if they're still using Shengyi more modernly now, but these bikes actually, like I said, have proven themselves. That's just an idea of if this motor can be trusted. Yes, I would say that's another reason why I don't have any questions about whether or not this is a good motor or not. Now, I'm going to say that there is something that you should be aware of. And I wouldn't say this is exactly a negative because I have no idea about it but I asked what kind of cells are in the battery that's coming with this. And it's a Lishen brand cell. I'm not really familiar with it. You know, it's a reputable company from what they're saying, but they do offer a 2-year warranty on their batteries. So that's one thing you should know, that, you know, they wanted to get Samsung battery cells, but right now, if you guys have listened to any of my other new e-bike news things, there is a huge shortage of Samsung batteries. Also, Samsung has drastically increased their prices, like 20%. So, you know, even I guess Hemingway also recently has changed their battery supplier from what I've been told about them. So just keep that in mind. This is one part that I can't, you know, vouch for because I don't know, but I can't say that it's bad either. If it's, I mean, if these guys are going to use it, like I said, the owner of Magicycle knows his bikes, so I don't think he's going to want to ruin his reputation right off with his first line going out there. Anybody who's been around the industry knows once you have a bike that has a lot of problems, it can really destroy your reputation very quickly. So your first bike's always going to be something that you want to be put out first. Next, let's do... Okay, so continuing on, we talked about the motor itself here. Going on to the batteries, we talked a little bit about that. You have a 2-year warranty on the batteries, 3 to 5 hour fast charge because of a 3 amp charger that comes with it. Like I said, a lot of them come with only 2 amps, so you get a little more fast charging there. Here's the display. Again, you'll have your display that shows your kilometers per hour. Now, this bike does have a top speed of about 28 miles an hour because it's not listed on the website, or I didn't see it on the IndieGoGo either. So I asked them how fast it goes. It has a speed that approximates about 28 as the top speed. Please note that I have not tested this myself. I don't know if that's true or not, but I have no reason not to believe it at this point. When they want to be competitive, they're going to have to make sure that it does it. Now, I did also, if you watch some of the other videos, we have heard that Bafang has actually been limiting their bikes to 25 miles an hour. So that might be an advantage of actually using a Shengyi as well. And that might actually make them more popular because, you know, people are expecting that extra 3 miles an hour is a big difference. Okay, so integrated front and brake lights, like I mentioned. They are using Kenda tires, 26 by 4 inch. So here's the Shimano 7-gear shifter. It looks like they're using the Altis. Again, this is just a picture, so it is possible that, yeah, it is an Altis on it. This is typical on most bikes. I think many actually lower budget bikes will have that. Mechanical disc brakes, 180 millimeters. So that's actually pretty cool. At least it's a larger. Some of them, if they came at 160, I would say that, you know, it's still going to work well, but 180 is a good start up there. I don't know the brand that they're using. You have, suspension fork. So that's actually a really good too. So you do have that does have lockout, and it does have preload. as well. 80 millimeters of travel, pretty decent on that as well. You have your front headlight, 6 volts LED. This is going to be more of a standard headlight. It's not going to be something that's going to light up the whole road in front of you, but you know, it's really inexpensive if you want to add a second light. It's great for visibility, so to be seen more so, but not necessarily it's going to be one that's going to, like I said, light up the road in front of you as much. A rear tail light, and oh, so you have a kind of a wider saddle with a handle, and that's something that's pretty good. Wellgo pedals. Again, pedals are really easy to replace if it wasn't a name brand, but Wellgo is also, it's a very well-named brand, known well-named brand. So you're good with the pedals that are going to be there, and it does come with a rear rack. That's everything you're pretty much going to want to need. I mean, it's like, again, it's comparable to what's out on the market, but it's now a great deal. So recommended rider heights 5'3" to 6'4". I don't know if 5'3" for a 26-inch is going to be really comfortable unless it's going to be a step-through model. So just keep that in mind too. So that's pretty cool. You're going to have this 14 to 28 teeth in the rear. That's, you know, very typical. Shimano's the name brand. So we don't have anything that's really different. Okay, they're sticking with what works, and they're trying to bring out a better price, and that's what's going to be where they're going to be staying at. So like I said, that's what makes it a good deal. It's nothing unique and crazy where you have to work. They have no reviews on it. The bike has not hit the US now. So they are anticipating to get their bikes at the end of August. And if they are using, so this is one thing I want to be very clear. They are using standard shipping type time frames that most of us, or those of us who have imported stuff in before, think would be a good time frame or time range of it. So I am going to have to say that they'll be shipping out of City of Industry once they get it there. The shipping time, I'm going to have to say that if you're saying September, you may not be getting these bikes till November or December. And now I'm not talking for them, okay? They're thinking they're going to get September. They might not be happy with me saying that it might be October, November, or even December. But to be honest, if they haven't shipped out any yet, they have not encountered all of the supply chain delays that are hurting everybody. So there's a lot of delays. If they're going to be shipping out a ton of bikes, they're going to need containers. I don't even know if they have containers solidified yet. These are stuff that hopefully they will find out. And if they do get back to me after watching these videos and telling me about they've already solidified all of their routes, they still have to worry about customs. I mean, my product that I've been importing is all stuck at the docks and at the ports. And that's beyond anybody's control. Electric has been problems with that. I mean, every company has been having problems with that. And on top of that, once they get the bikes and they need to ship it out, they are using FedEx. And if you guys don't know this right now, reason why all the electric owners are having problems getting their bikes is because FedEx has been weeks behind in picking up the shipments for delivery. And it's been a nightmare for these e-bike companies. And like I said, just because I want to make sure that I'm being very clear, it says September. I don't think you're going to get it till November, December, just because supply chain issues. They are also still having problems with the ports in Shenzhen, in China, where 25% of U.S. goods leave to come here. That they're having major delays. I think last one of my other videos, 160,000 containers were ready to be loaded, but because of a virus uptick over there, they've been having issues with that. And then, of course, the shipping from one country to the next is the fastest part now. They're coming across the water, no problem. But trying to get into the U.S. ports, all the backups, all on the West Coast, and now East Coast and in the Gulf, we have port backups everywhere. September is pretty optimistic, to be honest. I don't know. If they're not already on the water, hopefully they can get it in time. That's, you know, still, what, 2 months out? August, September, but you know, it is possible you may be waiting till November. So if you do place your order and you don't get it and it's still November, don't be mad at me. I'm telling you now, be patient and expect it in November. So if you get it earlier, you're going to be happy. All right. And you're going to be ecstatic that they were able to do it. And that's going to be a lot of credibility to them because, like I said, they are giving these estimates out of knowing what they think should happen on basic when the trade routes open normally and work. There's probably some of you who have already made the purchase before this was already done to jump on it. But you need to know that it could be late. It could be very late. And this would be a great Christmas present that actually might end up coming just around Christmas. So now on the IndieGoGo, they are only showing, I think, this bike. So make sure you let them know that you're looking for the step through and contact with them, because I read some of the discussion that's going on. Somebody had asked they'd like to get the step through, and they said, yeah, they can deliver it. So the other thing I don't know about their overall company yet is how they're going to be handling customer service. Okay, now that's a big deal. This is an IndieGoGo campaign. I know that many of the big companies, even Saunders, as soon as they launched their IndieGoGo campaign and it really took off, they had a horrible time managing the customer service calls, because these bikes are, they're electronics. Every e-bike company has problems. There's no 100%. Now, the reason why the Rad Power Company has done very well to establish this, because they've gotten through that and they've established them with some excellent customer service. Even Electric, they now have phone numbers and they actually are there to answer and field calls, and they do their best. They cannot control shipping, and that's where they get slammed. Their customer service gets beat up because they're not getting shipped out in time, but it's not their fault, really. So keep that in mind. This is a great deal. I would honestly say I think it's worth the $9.99, because even if it doesn't, stand up to as high as maybe a Hemingway, which I think it should, but even if it didn't, you're still saving like $600 or $500 over what a Hemingway costs, and also free shipping. So that's another thing. Like I said, I haven't bought a bike through there. So if anybody's actually gone through the purchase, please comment below on what your experience is like, and let me know what level you bought it at. I'd love to hear it. Again, full disclaimer, I am going to be getting a free bike, and that's what brought this bike to my attention. And even if I wasn't, I would probably actually be totally transparent. I would actually be considering picking up one of these bikes. I hope this has been informative. I know it's talk a lot. This has been a long video. There's so many things that are going through my head right now, and I wanted to get this out as soon as possible before it gets out that this bike is already, because this is one of those things that will take off. The $9.99 price, by the way, actually most of these prices here, they are losing money on, but they're doing it as a loss leader. If you don't know what that is, that means they are going to promote these bikes to get the word out. They're even giving some away free to YouTubers. If you're looking for a big full-size bike and you want something that's a great deal, and like if your budget is limited and you're willing to take a chance on it, this might be an opportunity. I am not endorsing the bike right now because I don't have one, but this is something that I came across, and with the way the industry is going, I think this is something that it has to be your decision. Please don't get upset at me if it's not what it turns out to be. Once I get the bike and I review it, and then I can totally endorse it, I will do so. That's going to be where I'm going to stand on that. Okay, right now, but because once I get the bike, it's not going to be $9.99 anymore. Once I get the bike, they're going to be selling for $1,400 to $1,500 to $1,600. And if someone can save $400 or $500 now, I say jump on it. Okay, all right. So that's enough on this one. I thank you guys so much for watching. I want to know, what do you guys think? Like this video if you think this is something that you guys want to hear more of. If I find these deals, because I do look all the time at what's coming out, what's new. I hope you guys are having a great time hearing about this kind of stuff. Let me know, and don't forget to subscribe, to like, and comment below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.